What's going on everyone, and welcome back to another video. My name is Roman and today's analysis video is going to be about the Premier League game between Arsenal and Manchester City. So Arsenal lined up in a 4-2-3-1 formation which often shifted to 4-4-2 without possession, with Ozil and Nicolas Pepe dropping in the midfield while Aubameyang and Martinelli were staying up to catch Man City on transitions. While Manchester City, on the other hand, lined up in a 4-3-3 formation on paper, but their formation on the ground was mostly 4-2-3-1 without possession, and they changed their formation to 2-3-5 with possession. Even though Man City tried to use the same offensive formation of 2-3-5 in this game, but there were still many changes in their playing style. Most of the times, Man City's fullbacks move in the midfield and they try to play as inverted fullbacks, and the attacking midfielders move up to join the front line as they try to attack the half spaces. But in this game, Phil Foden was playing at the wing position, who is not a natural winger. Foden was mostly playing like a false winger and was often dropping in the midfield, and both Foden and De Bruyne were playing in between the lines. Whenever Phil Foden moved narrow, Benjamin Mendy moved up to occupy the left wing. Man City had a very similar 2-3-5 formation with possession, but there were two big changes. The first change was that one fullback was moving in the midfield while the other one was moving up to provide the attacking width, whereas normally both Man City fullbacks drop in the midfield. De Bruyne, who normally looks to attack the half spaces, was also staying very central in this game, as he was trying to exploit the spaces in between the lines and make the play for Manchester City. So this is how the two teams were set up on the ground: Man City's offensive 2-3-5 formation against Arsenal's 4-2-3-1. Phil Foden and Kevin De Bruyne often dropped behind the Arsenal midfield line, while Sterling and Benjamin Mendy provided the attacking width to Man City. Sterling and Mendy kept the fullbacks engaged, and Gabriel Jesus was keeping the centre-backs engaged, and that gave Man City a massive advantage in the middle of the ground. Pepe and Martinelli were often staying up as they were looking to attack those wide spaces on transitions. Pepe and Martinelli's wide positions did give Arsenal a chance to play first-time passes in the wide areas on transitions, but at the same time, their high and wide positions were leaving Arsenal outnumbered in the middle of the ground. By using a false winger, Man City easily got the numbers advantage in the midfield, even when one of Pepe and Martinelli dropped in the midfield. So here we can see the complete picture of Man City's 2-3-5 formation with possession. Kyle Walker has moved in the midfield and is playing as the inverted fullback, while Phil Foden, the false winger, has moved narrow to open the space for Benjamin Mendy on the left flank. Man City are dropping their wingers in the midfield to overload the midfield area and get the numerical advantage. This crowded midfield has also opened spaces on the wide areas for Man City's fullbacks to move up. The wingers who have moved narrow to overload the central areas have opened up spaces on the wide areas for the fullbacks. Martinelli and Aubameyang were staying up and wide to catch Man City on transitions. But Kyle Walker did a very good job against Martinelli on these transitions. Martinelli was up against Kyle Walker on 6 different occasions, and only twice Martinelli was able to dribble past him, while the other 4 times, Kyle Walker was easily able to stop Martinelli. Arsenal's biggest issue in this game was the distance in between their lines. Guendouzi and Torreira were often moving up to help in the high press, but that was leaving the spaces open in between the lines, which Foden and De Bruyne were constantly exploiting. Arsenal's centre-backs were staying very low in this game, and they were not moving up with the rest of the team to keep the high press compact. Arsenal are applying the high press, but Rodrigo somehow finds a way to pick Foden, which is okay, as teams often find a way to break the high press. But the real problem for Arsenal starts after this initial pass. Foden receives the ball, plays a simple pass to Kevin De Bruyne. Arsenal's centre-backs are now nowhere to be seen. The centre-backs did not move up with the rest of the team, and now De Bruyne has time and space to receive the pass and turn with the ball, as he is under no pressure whatsoever. The centre-backs should have moved up with the rest of the team to eliminate any time or space for Kevin De Bruyne. Make a tactical foul if need be, but stop the attack. But since the Arsenal centre-backs did not move up to keep the high press compact, Kevin De Bruyne had enough time and space to turn with the ball and assist Sterling for the goal. Once again, big gap in between the lines, and a simple straight pass to find the man in between the lines. This time Sterling drops in between the lines to exploit the space. Simple straight pass, and the midfield is easily taken out, and the fullback is now left in a 1v2 position. Most of Arsenal's attacks in this game came from the left side, where Nicolas Pepe was time and time again dropping deep to pull Mendy out of his position. Pepe was forcing Mendy to step out of his defensive line to open the space for the one of Ozil. Ozil, who was playing at the number 10 position, would often exploit the spaces whenever Mendy stepped out to cover Nicolas Pepe. Pepe drops deep with possession and he pulls Mendy out of his position. Once again, Pepe drops deep and he pulls Mendy out of his position to open the space for the one of Ozil. And this is why 40% of Arsenal's attacks in this game actually came from the left side, where Pepe was constantly pulling Mendy out of his position to open the spaces for the ones of Ozil and Niles. In the second half, Arsenal kept a very tight marking on Man City's midfielders as they tried to eliminate the link between Man City's defense and offense. Tight marking in the midfield and forcing Man City to go wide and long. Since Man City's midfielders were tightly marked, so Man City were forced to use a more direct approach that involved a target man. But Arsenal clearly had the aerial and physical advantage against Gabriel Jesus. So whenever Man City went long, Arsenal's centre-backs were easily able to win possession for Arsenal. Man City's overload in the midfield created lots of issues for Arsenal in the first half. Kevin De Bruyne's 2 goals and 1 assist pretty much finished the game in the very first half. Thank you so much guys for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.